Welcome aboard this British Railz video. Well, this very significantly delayed British Railz video. Look, there are leaves on the line. There's driver strikes all over the shop. Which translates as life has been very busy indeed. What with a brutal combination of relentless work, which I do give thanks for, despite the tiredness and hours I will never get back. Being a dad, and creating content for 3 other social media accounts, before I even start to think about the curveballs that life has sent me, illness in the family, etc, etc, and the huge construction project which has started directly opposite my house, which makes my windows for recording quite slim and far between. Well, all in all, it gets a bit difficult to be able to dedicate the time to this project that it deserves. And when I do steal some time for that, I have to choose between route building or video making. And that is frustrating. So look, I promise to do better. I am going to make some shorter videos that don't take so long to produce and try to keep up to date. And in that vein, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a ride on a service to get an overview of some of the route building progress I have made. We will be joining the 1S39 at Carlisle. This is the Poole to Glasgow and Edinburgh service, which is better known as the Wessex Scot. In those days that I'm modelling, the Class 47 was replaced by an 86 at Birmingham. And then there was the exciting separation activity at Carstairs for the Edinburgh portion to return to diesel power for the last stretch along the Mid-Calder line. This, in fact, is the beginning of my work on creating a scenario for the player to be responsible for shunting and separation at Carstairs. Meanwhile, in this short video, we're going to accompany the train to the first stop on our route, which is Lockerbie. Partly because that is where I've been spending much of my route detailing time. One thing that this stretch alongside Kingmore Depot and Yard can help us to see is one of the painful unintended consequences of the upgrade from Tane to T19. The shadow engine is unforgiving on the track level. While in Tane, if the track was not exactly at ground level, with the ballast texture matching the track, it wasn't noticeable. Now, since upgrade, I have spent a lot of time trying to correct track and ground level throughout the route. I wonder if the microphone can pick up the sound of my dog's clickety-clackety feet on the floor. He always demands attention. Now, since upgrade, I have spent a lot of time trying to correct track and ground level throughout the route. Not going to lie, this is an absolute and significant ache in the testicular area, and has slowed progress on scenery detailing. But if I can accept the sunken cost of the time I have dedicated to this project so far, then I can sort out the sinkhole cost to maintain the quality of the route. I am aware of the smooth spline height tool, which makes a lot of this work easier, but this tool is a bit of a blunt instrument, especially when working in cuttings, so tweaking is still required. Otherwise, there is very little to report in terms of updates between Carlisle and Floreston. There has been some tedious but required work on the Solway Firth as it divides into the River Esk and Eden, but that is some distance away from the line. The cab on this 86 model is a point of frustration. It should be quite obvious, but it only has 2 windows, whereas, as we all know, an 86 has 3 windows on the front. Plus, annoyingly, the speed dial is showing kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour. But, my focus must stay on route building, otherwise I just will never finish. If anyone out there is a content creator for trains, then please get in touch. I do have a wish list. The cab ride has proven to be an excellent opportunity to check the quality of the running line, and in general it is very satisfying, but there will be some corrections to certain spots, like the border bridge at Gretna. While I have done some work on some of the line tilt on some of the curves, there is plenty more to be done to help the running speed. Some start has been made on the Gretna area, including a start on the motorway signage, a special mention for the border signs between England and Scotland. Work has been done away from the line, the Sutton's Gretna depot, preliminary work on the Gretna motorway services, and the M74, or the AM74 itself. Some work has been started on the route to Dumfries and the military depot near Eastriggs. Some substantial time has been spent in Kirkpatrick Fleming over the summer route building sessions. The village is almost complete to a pretty high standard. The one gaping hole is the Robert the Bruce camping site south of the level crossing. Just haven't found enough images to give me a clear idea of what it looks like and how it's set up. The overhead knitting is mostly made of two specific splines, UK 25kV Mark III 2-track, both the PMP 100 metre and 50 metre splines. The KUIDs are on the screen. They are both from my main man, Nexus DJ. These splines are very useful and look pretty smart compared to some of the earlier offerings on the programme. The next video I am working on is dedicated specifically to how I do my catenary. You may also notice the mileposts on the left of the line. I have marked them out from the end of the Carlisle platforms for about, I think, 33 miles of the route. It is another one of those rather dull and time-consuming jobs, but is well worth the effort. I strongly believe that small details add up to a powerful overall effect. Again, trackside relay cabins will need to be added, but we will see a stretch of the line on the approach to the Betwick summit where that detailing has been completed to a much higher standard. Kirtlebridge was one of the victims of the great crash of 22, and it is almost back to the state that it had previously achieved, but a comparison to the shots on my September 2024 route update flyby will demonstrate the difference between Tain and TRS-19. Timestamp for that video in the description or on the screen. Or both. I haven't decided yet. Eaglesfield has had cursory attention. Sorry, Eaglesfield residents and fans, but you guys are on the to-do list, much like Ecclefechan. Yes, Ecclefechan in English, Ecclefechan in Scots, as I'm led to believe. The bank in this shot on the curve here is part of the SAM VS system. I am much happier with the SAM embankments than the FMA models. Simply, the ballast colour blends with the track I use, and the grass seems a little less luminous. I suspect this will also end up being a large-scale replacement operation, though knowing my luck, a batch replacement will simply screw up all the placements and give me loads more jobs to do. It's worth noting, by the way, this forlorn power pylon is not an unfinished power line. That pylon then brings the lines down to a transformer station at that spot. Not much to point out on this section. Still needs a lot of work, and the curve needs to be smoothed out a little. That light blue shading on the left is the M74 on the Transdem map. In the period I'm modelling, the motorway upgrade was in progress, and there are several locations on this section of the line where, in the present, a second overpass has been added alongside the old A74, now classified as the B7076. Here, on this section of my train's route, the site and the crossing at Ecclefechan have not been built. Later in the route near Crawford, I have used some modeller's license to display the new overpass in a state of construction, and that has a reduced speed limit on the running line. After a little development in scenics on the curve west prior to Lockerbie, the final approach looks fairly bleak and sparse at the moment, but once we curve back round onto the straight approaching Lockerbie, the horizon looks recognisable. Kirkpatrick Fleming and Lockerbie have been the locations where I have spent most of my summer, and although there is plenty of work to be done still, the town has really started to reflect the prototype. As our service pulls to a stop at Lockerbie, the milepost to the right displays 26 miles. The official data places Lockerbie at 25.66 miles from Carlisle. The 26 mile post is just a few yards north of the platform. I am going to end up realigning them, aren't I? Another one of those little jobs. In the next video I plan to discuss the catenary system I use. But we will return to the Wessex Scot and follow this service through what is still the most sparsely detailed section between Lockerbie and Betwick, while Betwick itself and a lot of the section from there to Abington is much more pleasing on the eye. Until then, If you like what you see, don't just click the like button, tell others, and subscribe. If you don't, keep it stumm, eh? Or send on the ticket inspectors. Cheery bye.